roll up and form an orderly queue. You're in Steve's Kitchen and this is the longest running state fair this year. We're going to be having heaps of fun with carnival food. If we had state fairs here in Australia, I guarantee you there would be some sort of Tim Tam slam. What are Tim Tams? They're a filled double malted biscuit dipped in chocolate, and a little bit like Oreos in the US, they come in all sorts of flavors. I've got iced coffee, I've got chewy toffee here. They're so good. Now a Tim Tam slam, if you've not heard of it, I'll run through it quickly. We got a real cool take on this for a carnival fairground food on a stick, but I'll show you a Tim Tam slam to start with. You're gonna want a hot beverage, coffee, tea, hot chocolate, whatever floats your boat. You're gonna want a Tim Tam, and then you need to bite the corners off of either end, so like this. So you've got a diagonally opposed sort of cut through the chocolate. Here's where it gets tricky. You've got to dip one end into your hot beverage, suck your drink up through the Tim Tam, and then quickly, before it completely collapses, pop it into your mouth and it's going to melt like honeycomb. It's absolutely delicious, trust me. So there you have it. That's a traditional Tim Tam slam, and I'm about to show you a carnival Tim Tam slam, and I think you're going to love it. Now the batter has to be absolutely perfect, and as a nod to the American state fairs, I'm going with corn flour and whole flour mixture, but I'm actually using a masa harina. So we've got a half a cup of masa harina, half a cup of all-purpose flour, a tablespoon of sugar, and half a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Take 1 egg, drop it in with the dry ingredients, 160 mils or 2/3 of a cup of full fat milk, and a 20 ml shot of rich espresso. Now I'm just going to get my whisk in there and start to mix this through to get a rich, thick batter. Now we're looking for a rich, thick batter that clings to the whisk but runs off ever so gently. Now I decided to add a little bit of espresso in here because of the Tim Tams, a sort of nod to the Tim Tam slam. Of course, that's completely optional. But one thing you do want to do is make your batter at least sort of 20 minutes or so before, just to allow the flour to bloom and develop. Now to all my Aussie buddies out there, I'd like to know which Tim Tams you would go for. I've got 2 here, so I'm going to use both of them because we're going for a double Tim Tam on a stick. We're going to take a skewer, and what you've got to do is sort of poke it in where the cream is in the center of this cookie or biscuit, and you're just going to ease it all the way through. I hope I've got that fairly central. See it pop out the other end. And next I'm going to take the second Tim Tam and just continue to push it on up through. As it starts just to poke out the end there, we're done. Now, depending on how many you're going to make, place them onto a flat tray. We want to pop these in the freezer for maybe 10 or 15 minutes just to set nice and firm. Now I'm going to do a second one. This time I'm going to start with the dark chocolate and end with the caramel. I'll place it on the tray. Now I'm probably going to make about 4 of these. Now, whilst the Tim Tams are chilling, I'm going to bring my oil up to temperature, about 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, and I'd love to have a little chat with you about where we're going with this series. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to start off by doing what I see as Australian versions of fair food, and then we're going to roll into the classics, the corn dogs, the cream puffs. I'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite state food or fair food? Also, if you've been to a state fair, which are the best ones? What's the best food that you've had there? Share the stories down below. Hopefully my Tim Tams have chilled now, so I'm going to get on and we'll assemble these Tim Tam slams. Now we've got this lovely thick batter here. I've got a Tim Tam, and what I'm going to do is just take that Tim Tam, pop the batter onto the top and just drag it down so it coats the whole Tim Tam. We're going to turn it round, do the sides, so we got lots of that lovely gooey batter. Now I just lift it up, bring the Tim Tam up, give it a little shake, evenly distribute the batter before we fry it. Now what we're doing here is laying the Tim Tam into the oil, but I'm giving it a little twist to try and get all the sides a little bit cooked before it starts to fry. Now, unlike a corn dog, because a Tim Tam is square, it doesn't always turn itself in the fat, so you might have to encourage it round. Now we're going to cook this from about 2.5 to 3 minutes until we've got a lovely, rich, even golden brown. Then I'm just going to lift it out of the oil. Now we take that out of the fat. I'll just pop it down on the surface. Now I'm just going to dust this over with a bit of powdered sugar. Turn it over, do the other side as well. there is my Aussie Fairground take on a Tim Tam slam in a coffee flavoured batter. It's still probably really piping hot, but in the tradition of Fairground food, you've got to eat it while it's hot. So here goes. Oh. Wow. Super hot, super delicious. It's going to be a fun series. I hope you'll join me all the way. Share this with your friends. Share it across the internet. And if you decide to make these, let me know what you think. Send me some pictures. Be good. We'll see you in the next episode for another Aussie look at carnival food. Take care. See you then.